I'm really hoping our camera does not overheat this week because it has overheated the past 2 times we've recorded the podcast.
It has, yeah.
And this is the warmest it's been since we went over to video style.
Yeah. Like, most of the country is going through a bit of a heat wave right now, and I don't know, we're in an area where typically there's much more mild temperatures during this time of year. We're in Utah, but it's hot. It's hot here, guys, to the point where, like, we have to turn off our AC in order to record our podcast or go live on TikTok with you guys. And, you know, otherwise we get a lot of, like, just sound pollution and, like, sound interference. Y'all, so it's a little hot. We're going to survive. We'll get through it together, but whew.
I don't know if I'll survive, but hopefully the camera will.
All right, good luck, little guy. Good luck.
You mean me?
Sure. No, not you. The camera. Welcome to the Wandering RV Podcast, your bi-weekly source for our stories,
our screw-ups,
and our successes living the full-time RV life. I'm your host, Kara, the Wandering RV Babe, and this is my driver, Ryan.
Howdy, folks! Welcome to Utah!
Oh, that was intense, guys. That was intense. Okay, so what we're talking about today are the curveballs that life can throw at you living this RV life. And when I say curveballs, I don't mean things that you would kind of expect with RV life. I mean, like, true weird curveballs that has definitely been thrown at us over the last 2 years that we've been doing RV life. And a lot of them have happened recently. So off to the races we go.
Softball or baseball curveballs? Or cricket?
Cricket.
Do they do curveballs in cricket?
I have no idea.
Sure, we'll call it cricket curveballs.
It's cricket curveballs.
But yeah, we are in Provo, Utah, home of the Fighting Bulldogs, and also the 4th largest city in Utah.
You did a lot of research on this.
But hold on, it gets even better. 4th largest.
Okay.
That's with 115,000 people, which comes to only 3% of the total Utah population.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, except for some really big cities, there's not as many people in general out here, which is actually lovely, because it's not quite as crowded, and traffic, I don't know, traffic has been really, really crazy in Provo and in Salt Lake. It's kind of big city traffic in general, so it's not just specific to this one area, but oh my God, it's like the road laws don't apply. The lines on the road are like painted little cute lines. They don't apply. They're suggestions. But yeah, it's been very, very fun being here. So I hurt my foot. We'll talk about this here in a minute, but I hurt my foot a few weeks ago, so that's really severely limited our ability to go and just explore and go hiking, and some of the plans that we had going into this trip to first Colorado and now Utah just had to get completely scrapped. The biggest hiking states of the country. I know. Yeah, because I can kind of barely walk right now, which is super, super sucky. But we had fun in Park City over the weekend. We went there and we went to Olympic Park and checked that out. They were actually doing some ski jumper practice, which was really, really cool to just sit and watch. So of all the activities, a lot of them required that she not go because she was hurt. And then the few ones that she could do, they wouldn't allow her to go because technically the boot is an open-toe shoe. Yeah, so I have this like big orthotic boot that I have to wear right now. And the toes are open. And we were like, well, the foot is far enough back. Like, could we just pretend it's closed? And they were like, no. Can we just like tape over with duct tape and call it closed? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take us back on a little history lesson over the past 14 months about healthcare. Yeah. It's been interesting. I'm normally a healthy person, by the way. It has been very interesting. So starting last May, so 14 months ago, my mother, while we were caravanning in New York... Yeah, this one wasn't even me. Yeah, broke her
arm in New York City, about 2 hours away from our campground. So I had to drive her to the hospital. Super crazy thing. Not fun. You don't try it. Then in December we had to schedule time so little Miss over here could have.
I had a procedure done. It was normal. It was routine. No big deal.
But we just had to schedule time. We had to stop what we were doing, and then as we're in Tampa, we drove from Texas over to Florida and went to a couple places, then ended up in Tampa. As we're getting to Tampa, you're in so much excruciating pain from it that we end up having to go to the ER. Come to find out, it's infected.
Yeah, it was not good.
Lordy. Then a few months after that, our dog hurts her.
It's like her knee.
It's kind of her knee essentially.
Yeah.
And
She's like hobbling around on 3 legs.
So
right
she
now.
hurt her leg. We gave her a couple weeks to kind of see if she got better. Didn't get better. Had to take her to the vet ER to get an X-ray done on her to figure out what was going on. Then you hurt your foot.
Yeah, actually, she hurt my foot. Not intentionally, but she's a bigger girl and she's like muscly, and so she stepped on my foot. That was kind of the initial injury, and then a few days later, I just like walked wrong. I don't know. I just put my weight, shifted my weight incorrectly or something like that, and we have now found out we were able to get an MRI done just this past week actually. Saw a specialist. And now found out that it's an injury to my plantar plate ligament. So essentially, like the ball of my foot is all jacked up.
Try to say that 10 times fast. Plantar plate ligament. I can't even say it once.
Yeah. So I had to really concentrate on that. That was hard.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm stuck in a boot for a little bit longer. Hopefully, it will heal. From what I've been told, it's like one of the longer ligaments to heal, and we'll get the full report in a few days to find out like how badly injured it is. So that's fun. It's been a bit of a trip, but what I will say is getting healthcare on the road can be a little tricky. So we have a great insurance plan. Through my job, I kind of work that normal like 9-to-5 job through an actual company, so we have insurance through that company. Which is great, and it's all across the nation, so we can get healthcare when we need it. Normally, if it's just like a cold or we need a prescription refill or something like that, we just use the like teledoc services through the insurance company, which is kind of great, or through the my company that's coordinated with that, and that's really nice. But when you have a injury that requires MRIs and X-rays and things like that, you can't always really do that virtually. So we have had like just a really tough time with getting like prior authorization in time to get the radiology imaging scans that we need to get before we have to move on from an area.
So tell me, when did you get your MRI done?
Last night.
When did the doctor see you about it?
Last week.
No. Today.
Oh, today, yeah.
And when are we leaving town?
Tomorrow. So I saw the doctor over a week ago now. He ordered the MRI like right then and there. They have a really good working relationship with a local imaging center. So like they were amazing. The doctor and the doctor's office was great. They were super, super interested in the RV life too. It was really great. We just like stopped and like chatted with the doctor for probably 10-15 minutes after the visit was over, which was super awesome. And then the imaging center was amazing. Like they got me rescheduled for my MRI multiple times because we thought the pre-auth would be in and it wasn't, and yeah, all of the things. Long story short there, finally got the MRI last night. We ended up having to self-pay for it because we were running out of time. We don't know what's going on with the insurance company, but we'll figure that out. Saw the doctor today, got a couple of, well, actually 3 steroid shots in my foot this morning. We leave tomorrow. So all that said, I think we're in a good spot. The doctor thinks we're in a good spot. We're going to do a virtual follow-up with him in a couple weeks. It should be fine. They took great care of us, but man, you kind of have to be your own advocate here, and like, you have to make sure if you're doing RV life, you're on the road and something happens and you're not able to halt your plans or stop or, whatever the case may be, you really just have to be your own advocate. You have to make sure that you're explaining everything, your whole circumstance to your doctor, to, any of the other, healthcare providers that are in that whole process that you need to get well again. So that way they know and they can work with you on it. And, to that end, also call the insurance company and advocate for yourself there as well. That was a curveball. It's a curveball. This year has been nuts with just all of the healthcare stuff that we've had to deal with. And I know it'll happen more as we get older. I know that there's many, many other campers and RVers that do this life that have, chronic illnesses. We do have some chronic illnesses that flare up every now and then, but overall they don't really impede our travels all that much. But this one definitely threw us for a curveball.
Refill
we
time.
need a refill.
Refill time.
All right, tell the chat what we're drinking tonight because it's a little bit different than what we normally drink.
I know, we're normally all in on the whiskeys or beers or mixed drinks, cocktails, pretty much everything else except for I was in the mood for sake tonight. I don't know why, but I was just like, you know what? We were going to the liquor store. I was like, I wonder if they have any good sake. I like the cold, unfiltered sake. So nigori is, I guess, is what it's called. And so I wasn't sure. And then we got there and they had it and I was like, yes, please.
Yeah. Well, we recently had a gin, not a gin. Well, it's made with gin. A sake 75 made with gin, lemon juice, and simple syrup. And it was amazing. So I kind of recreated that recipe at home. And then I think that's probably what drove your craving right now for sake is that flavor in the cocktail was really nice, but it was just kind of a hint of that flavor, not the full thing. Whereas this is full on sake. And yeah, I agree with you. My favorite is the chilled, unfiltered sake.
Jesse, I'm with you. I always want sake at a sushi bar.
100%, yeah.
But I was just totally in the mood this time. I don't know why. It was weird.
I don't think we've bought sake outside of a sushi bar. I don't think we've ever gone to a liquor store to buy sake before. It's just kind of something. It was on a whim. So that's what we're drinking tonight.
I don't know if you're still in there. I mean, we've talked a couple of times.
Hey, TX.
But we actually checked our batteries 2 weeks ago, and we're like, we need to change these out. And so last week I went in and got some new batteries. So we have brand new batteries in the rig. So we'll see how they do long term. But we literally just checked them and just changed them out.
So our main topic, again, it's about curveballs and curveballs that you wouldn't normally expect from RV life. So there's expected curveballs that can happen in RV life, unexpected repairs or things like that, maintenance, all the things like that. These are not those things. These are everything else.
Everything you don't think of, like pissing off your wife in an RV without a sofa bed. Where are you gonna go sleep? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go sleep in the truck? I mean, I guess you'd have to.
We haven't had too many of those issues, but it can happen. It can absolutely happen. In 300 square feet, there's not a lot of places for you to go. And during the day, if you get salty with each other, one of you can just go outside if the weather's nice and go walk it off or whatever. While the other one's kind of go to your own corners from that perspective. But if you're still pissed off at each other when the sun's going down, man. That could be tricky.
It's time to cuddle up and make it up.
Yeah. I mean, it is hard to go from, at least in our experience, it is challenging to go from 3,000 square feet down to about 300 square feet. I realize that those of you who live in Manhattan are laughing at us right now because you're like, oh, rookies, just sit down. But if you're not used to living in that small of a space, it's an adjustment for sure. Yeah.
I mean, how do I get my video game time on when there's only one TV in the RV? What am I supposed to do if you want to watch your stupid little lovey-dovey shows and I want to...
What lovey-dovey shows?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. You're trying to dog on me, and I really don't actually watch lovey-dovey shows.
No, you don't. I was trying to come up with something. I was trying to create that fight.
I know. But no, I mean, it's real. We have, and not every RV is this way. We only have one bathroom in our RV. We have 2 sinks, which is great. But we only have one bathroom, so we've learned how to navigate that situation when this dude over here decides to go watch TikTok videos for 20 minutes.
I feel singled out. I'm doing other things besides just watching TikTok videos in there. It's natural course of action.
Yep. Yes, that is the thing. But he has learned to give me a warning. It's like a poo call. Like, I gotta go. Do you have to pee really quick, or do you have to like do something in here really quick before I occupy the bathroom for the next 20 minutes?
I do not take 20. All women exaggerate. All. And that's not an exaggeration.
That's not an exaggeration at all. It's just, I feel like I ranted enough.
Okay. Okay. How about the fact that you are your own dishwasher?
Oh my, okay, so y'all, okay. We realized this going into RV life. Like, I knew I was giving up my dishwasher. I thought I had come to terms with it. What I guess I didn't realize was a little bit of a curveball is the sink itself is small. I mean, it's good size for a camper, but it's still small. The space to dry the dishes is small. And the area itself is small. So it's really kind of a one-person area still. So it's not like he can really get in and, like, help with a lot of that. It's a one-person job. So we kind of had to, like, figure out how to take some of our favorite recipes that, you know, in our house, we're foodies. We love to cook. So our house, when we had one, had a really nice sized kitchen. We could spread out, we could pull out all the pots and pans. We had a great dishwasher, huge like kind of sink that could fit a lot of dishes as well. No issues there. And so when we moved into the RV and everything got proportionally smaller, we had to figure out how to make our favorite dishes with less dishes overall.
I feel like you're calling me a messy person.
You're not messy. You do cook kind of messy though. You've gotten better about it, but
I've tried.
you really have. I appreciate the effort there, and it's much better than it was. But yeah, you kind of are all over the place when you cook, and so
I'm an inspired cooker.
You are, and the food is totally worth it. So I'm okay cleaning up after that. But we did kind of think through how to do a better job with like consolidating all of the dishes that need to be cleaned after we cook. The other thing that I kind of didn't, like, I guess I realized, but I didn't really internalize is I do dishes like 3 times a day. Because if you just let it build up, there's nowhere to put them whenever you do have to go and clean them. And then there's nowhere to put them when you do have to dry them. So if you let all those dishes build up, it's like the camper is overflowing with dirty dishes at that point. So the dishwasher does dishes a lot.
I feel like there's like a TikTok in this, like things you can say about your wife that you can't say about your dishwasher.
Okay, guys. Okay, we've got to do a TikTok. I promise we will record one because that is too good not to do.
Okay, dishwasher. What about the smoke detector?
Oh, good Lord.
I'm not okay.
Y'all, the fucking smoke detector goes off every single time we use the air fryer. Every time. And it's not smoky in here. It's just, I don't know, it like smells it. Is that a thing for them to like smell the food cooking and then the smoke detector to go, oh my gosh, that smells way too good. I just have to like make sure you know that could, mean trouble for you.
And it pisses her off, but it freaks the hell out of our dog.
Oh my, yeah, like, I think the fact that it pisses me off and I respond that way, like, makes her even more anxious and agitated, so I'm trying to curb that. But oh my goodness, like, the loudness of the beeping really makes the dog just pace back and forth, and that's the same direction that I have to go to, like, essentially air it out. But yeah, it's kind of funny.
Wave a hat in front of it.
I do. If I think about it in time and it's not too hot outside, I will proactively turn on all the fans and open up all the windows and open the screen door, and then we don't have any issue. But sometimes I forget, or sometimes it's just too hot outside and we're like, okay, we'll deal with it when it goes off.
Yeah, I mean, I turn on all the fans, but it's just not enough.
Yeah. Now, I will say, Natasha from Godwin's on the Go, if you're not following them, you absolutely should. They're amazing. But she has the same air fryer, and what she found was if she turns it on air roast setting instead of air fry setting, it's supposed to do the same thing in terms of how it cooks the food, but it doesn't set off the fire alarm. So we have yet to try that. We will try it and get back to you. But yeah, you should definitely check them out because they're amazing.
If you don't know, this is my skeptical face, but I'm definitely willing to try it.
Let's do it. We'll try it.
Oh, man.
We're prepping for a 3-day travel day coming up, so we won't be trying it anytime soon because every time we have a travel day, especially multiple travel days in a row, we plan like the easiest of cleanup meals ever, and that's when a lot of times we'll pull out like the paper plates and the paper cups and things like that, so we have the fewest number of dishes. Part of that is we're tired after a long travel day. We just don't want to have to mess with it. But part of it is an attempt to conserve water, especially if we are not plugged into water. So we'll try it in a bit, probably in the next like week and a half or so. Another curveball that we've talked about internet connection.
Yeah.
For sure. That was in a previous episode. We'll link it in the description. But like cell phone data and like cell phone connectivity is another curveball that is tied to internet but kind of separate in its own way that we've come across.
Yeah, it really depends on what region you're in and like where people kind of put their money. They're all quote unquote nationwide networks. Well, most of them are. But they're not necessarily full bandwidth. So like you may get somewhere and like you may have full bars on your phone connecting to the antenna, but if they haven't upgraded the backbone to that antenna, then that full bars isn't going to do you any good.
That is very true.
Obviously, like if you go driving down the street at your local town, you know, Verizon or AT&T may be doing amazing, but so-and-so may not be. But as you go across the country, other things are going to change that. And then you're going to have companies like US Cellular and Boost that are really only regional in general.
I think the other thing that was a bit of an adjustment for us with RV life, for full-timers especially, we've had to be a lot more intentional about keeping up with our friends and family while we're on the road, because we're on the road year-round.
I don't know about you. I just text my friends whenever I think about them. So every like 4 or 5 months.
Every 4 or 5 months, your friends hear that you're still alive.
Yeah.
No, I totally, we do like girls wine date with my girlfriends. It's super fun. FaceTime is amazing. Zoom is amazing. Like the technology to be able to just still stay connected is really great, even when we're on the road. And so we plan like what we call our girls date nights every few weeks, where we'll each get our beverage of choice. We hop on FaceTime and we just chat, which is super fun. And then we've really like tried to plan our travel around what we call anchor points throughout the year. And one of like kind of those big things, big places that we want to go or big things that we want to do. And then we kind of weave in the rest of the travel from there. One of those anchor points is we always come back home for the holidays. And so we get to see our friends and family during the holidays. We really prioritize like hitting everybody during the holidays. So by the time we get done with the holidays, we're like extroverted out. we need that time to like recharge, but we love it because we get to see everybody. And then like this past July 4th, our whole family actually came up to Colorado, and one of them got a cabin. One of them brought their travel trailer, so we actually camped right next to them in the site right next to them. One of them stayed in a hotel, but we all met up together and we got to hang out together, which was super cool. So we do make plans to see our family throughout the year. We just have to be really, really thoughtful about it.
And then stuff like our Instagram, Facebook, and like, honestly, this podcast are kind of ways for them to keep up with us as well. That was kind of how it got started, was just a way for people, friends, family, to be able to be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Well, rather than us answering it a bazillion times, like, you listen to our podcast, go watch our social media, something. You'll get the gist of where we're at.
Yeah, like Jenny joining us today. Like, we know Jenny in real life. We've been friends with her and her family for a long time, and she's hanging out with us live on TikTok right now, which is super, super fun. So those are also great ways to keep up with friends and family. The other cool thing that social media has done for us is we've really been able to cultivate a community with other RV families, whether full-time RV families or families that are just into RVing and just trying to get as many trips in as they can this year. And it really gotten a chance to actually get to know each other, which is super, super cool. So it's, the power of social media, the power of connectivity has really been something we've leveraged while we've been on the road.
Okay, one thing that's been a curveball for me, and I mean, it's affected you a little bit, but definitely has affected me a lot. Allergies.
Oh my goodness.
They're so different from place to place, and what may cause it in one place, you go to another area, something completely new might be causing your issues, and you just don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even realize what cottonwood was like that. You just hear it on the news, like cottonwood pollens are really, really high. And then we get to Colorado and it's like snowing cottonwood little white things, whatever they're called, seedlets on us. And I'm like, my allergies are destroying me.
I know. You kind of have adapted a little bit, but yeah, it's been rough. A poor guy, he was sneezing constantly. His eyes were super swollen for a bit. And yeah, it looked like snow falling from the sky. It was so much.
It was so much. Last little curveball. We're just going to throw this one in the very end. Okay, yes, we are glamping. We're not camping. We totally recognize this.
Yeah, there's like a super big debate. Every time we post a video, we get a comment like, you guys aren't camping. Like, yeah, no, we realize that.
We're glamping. We get it. But it does come, it comes with its own different set of downsides. Like, you think, okay, camping's a lot harder than glamping. Like, that's the whole point. Glamping is more glamorous. The issue is, when it comes to things like work, so we have to be we have to be places that have good internet, which means that
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
And the sacrifice that we make with that, so we both have kind of the knowledge jobs where, knowledge worker jobs where we have to be on the computer quite a bit. And that means we have to be connected to the internet. We have to have a really solid, like rock solid internet connection. And often that means being close enough to a highway, like within 10-15 minutes of a highway, and not being like way out in the boonies, which is super sad because it's beautiful to camp out there. But the sacrifice that we make is there's a lot of light pollution. And so that was one of the things that I expected going into this life of like, oh man, we're going to be sleeping under the stars every night. We're going to get to see like all of the stars and it's going to be gorgeous and beautiful. And there have been a few places that we've been able to go where we have been able to see like just this gorgeous, gorgeous night sky. But for the most part, unfortunately, because we have to be so connected all the time and we really can only disconnect when we truly go on vacation, there's a ton of light pollution. And so even camping in a campground or state park that's close to where we need to be for our internet connectivity ultimately prevents us from being able to like super enjoy that like real campground vibe.
Yeah, and on top of that, unfortunately, because we're working Monday through Friday. Well, you're working Monday through Friday.
Your schedule's a little
yeah,
weird.
But you're working Monday through Friday. We can't really like move around during the week, and our tanks, they can't really make it past 2 or 3 days, so we pretty much have to always go to campgrounds that have full hookups, which kind of limits the selection, and you don't get some of that more rustic feel where you're more spread out and kind of get to enjoy yourself and be kind of in your own little world. No, we're, a couple of feet away from the next guy over.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, man, we would love to have an opportunity to like really truly go boondocking in like Moab or someplace like super cool. But yeah, I mean, our rig is not super set up for boondocking right now. We'd have to do a lot to it to really get it set up for more than just like a night or two. But Yeah, it's also one of those things where we're pretty tied in during the weekday to our computers because of the work that we do. And so we kind of have to reserve all of our exploration for the evenings and the weekends. And that very, very much limits where we can go, where we can stay, and how long we can stay, because we tend to have to travel more slowly than everybody else, who might have more freedom to just pick up and move midweek. So moving to our pick of the week. One of the things that we've talked about a ton and get a lot of questions on is how do we stay organized? Especially moving from 3,000 square feet down to 300 square feet. And not ever having lived in that small of a confined space before. And so, yeah, there's a little strategy that goes into play there.
Okay. I always have these lofty goals that everything will have its place and it's going to be right there, readily accessible whenever I need it. But then inevitably, like something gets buried just a little bit too far back and then I need it 3 times in 3 days. And I just end up leaving it out. And so
it's not cool. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. It wasn't as big a deal when we were in 3,000 square feet, and I like to putter, and so I had time to just kind of go around and like pick stuff up and like put stuff back where it goes. But in 300 square feet, it becomes an eyesore really, really quickly, and so we definitely have to be very intentional about how we keep things organized. Probably our 2 biggest strategies is, one, everything has a place. If it doesn't have a place, it doesn't stay. So that's kind of a rule that we have, is if we can't find a place for it, we don't keep it. So if it's something we really, really want to keep, we find a place for it. The other thing I think is we maximize the space that we can with like organizers, like bins and stuff. We even have bins in our fridge, which come in handy on travel days, because then if something does make a mess inside the fridge on travel day, it's like contained. It doesn't get everywhere. But we have bins everywhere. We use vertical storage a lot. So we have command strips and we have just different baskets and things that are hanging from those that help keep lightweight stuff organized. But yeah, like we really just had to figure out how to maximize our space by leveraging storage. And I'll be honest, when we first moved into our RV, we did some things, we put some things up, and then we realized later that's not how we function best, and we had to rearrange. We did that several times, and that's okay. And I'm sure we'll continue to do that as we like purge old things and get new things in, that kind of thing. But yeah, that is how we stay organized in the camper. I also have like a label maker too, which is really, really super handy. So for all of our cabinets where things aren't super visible, I have like a label maker that says like, here's what's in this. Like, here's our board games, and like, here's this and here's that. So
everything
really
has its label. Everything has its label.
Hey, everything has a label. It's fine. It's good. You know.
But so I kind of do the same thing with our basement. So I've got like some larger like closing bins for like our sewer hookups, our fresh water hookups. Some of my tools that I need for certain stuff are on like one side of the basement. Some tools I need, especially tools that I might need on the road, are on the other side of the basement, and they're all kind of readily accessible. Then obviously we've got like our chairs and stuff. It's all kind of organized, but like those bins, like buying bins of different sizes is going to make organizing in your RV so much better. That is, I mean, just a game changer.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so we had a cool fan question this week that came up. We actually did a TikTok on it, and then we had a friend actually stitch our TikTok and carried on the conversation. So we thought we'd bring it up here as well and talk through it. But the question was, what like useless things did you bring into RV life when you first started from your house that you sold? And you're probably gonna hate our answer. So,
we didn't really bring a lot of excess. So we kind of knew what we were doing. We had like a full on garage sale. Like we sold everything, and we only like kept a few things, got a storage unit, and put those few things into the storage unit. But then, really, actually, the bigger thing that came from it was that we ended up buying some stuff that we didn't need or didn't actually end up being useful.
Yeah. So the reason we actually didn't bring a ton of stuff with us that we knew would ultimately not be useful, is we have camped our entire lives, whether it's tent camping, pop-up tent trailer camping, or actual travel trailer RV style camping. We've both literally done it our entire lives, both separately as well as together once we started dating and then ultimately got married. So we kind of had an idea. We certainly had some learning curves doing it full time, because prior to 2 years ago, we didn't do it full time. But we kind of knew what was up. Like, we kind of knew you can't bring furniture with you. Like, you can't bring a ton of big things, big bulky things with you. But like, one of the weird things, super weird for us, and it's very specific to us and our particular RV model, is, y'all, we went through 2 Keurig coffee makers in like less than a year, and those suckers are not cheap. And the reason why is because we have a rear kitchen. And so our model number, our rig, is a Sandpiper 39 Bark, which means it is I know the manufacturer didn't label it this way, but we call it a badass rear kitchen because it is really badass. But it's a rear kitchen, not a mid kitchen or a front kitchen. And so if you have a front kitchen or a mid kitchen and you have a towable RV, it's going to absorb a little bit more of the shock from the road, and you're not going to have quite so much bumpiness. The rear of your trailer is where all the bumpiness is, or at least a lot of it, a lot of the bumpiness. And so I think my theory is it was just, even though we patted it down really well, we packed it really well, there's probably some sort of mechanism inside the Keurig that's just really delicate, and being at the rear of the camper was too much for it.
Just gets the most vibrations back there.
Yeah, so we ended up, after the second one broke, we ended up swapping it out for like a cheap, like $25 Black & Decker coffee maker. It's just a regular pot coffee maker. And it's been amazing. It's worked like a champ the entire time. We keep it in place so it doesn't really move from its location, so we don't have to pack it away or anything. We just kind of pad it with some like fabric padding, like what you would recover a chair with, essentially, and some bungee ties, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
So
the other thing you bought this like set of like stackable stainless steel pots and pans.
Yo, they had so many good reviews from campers, from RVers online. But yeah, no.
It was worthless. I mean, we still use like some of the pots, but we pretty much used none of the pans. They were just not helpful. I mean, the fact that they stacked was really, really cool, but they're just not high quality stainless steel, and so it just... no.
It just wasn't worth it. We ended up swapping out a lot of the elements of it for actual like just ceramic coated pans, and it's funny, we thought we would use so many more pans, and then because of the whole dishwasher conversation we had a minute earlier, we ended up getting like 1 pan and 1 saucepan, and we're like set.
Yeah,
so
it's been working amazing.
Yeah. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'd love to stay connected to you. We are on all of the socials: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. What have I forgot? Snapchat and Threads.
Hey, we're on Threads.
We just joined Threads. We are among the first people on the bandwagon for Threads. So definitely check us out there. Same username the entire time. It's @WanderingRVBabe. The other cool thing is we have a website. Our website features our podcast. So if you want to connect to us, you want to see a full episode of our podcast or get subscribed to our podcast, check out our website. It's in the bio of all of our social media platforms. We also, on our website, have links to any of the products that we actually use and love and talk about, as well as merch. We have merch now? We have merch. We have merch now.
I don't know. It appeared out of somewhere. I don't know.
Just magic. So stay connected with us. Definitely send us comments. Definitely interact with us. We'd love to hear your stories, your screw-ups, and your successes doing the RV life, or any questions that you might have about RV life as well. So hang out with us. But thanks so much for checking out our episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I honestly can't remember the last time we had a major fight.
We had that question come up a minute ago.
Did we?
Yeah, they were like, I can't imagine you fighting with each other.
I really can't. I can't even remember the last like all-out brawling fight where I was like, one of us is sleeping on the sofa. Who's going?
Yeah, I don't like it was always you. But no, I like we do, well, okay, so I guess in 17 years of marriage, yeah, I know, 17 years of marriage, we've had all the fights. We've had them all. We've got done. We've been there, done that.
I love how I wrote that joke and you stole the joke from me.
Oh, I did. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not really sorry.
Bye.
Bye.